Hello everybody, this is Women Wonder here today, and I am working on a special challenge today, special art challenge, and this is the 25 Essential Expressions Challenge. This was created by somebody on DeviantArt quite a while ago, and you can find the blank meme in the description. But today, I am working on the first 8 expressions in the challenge, featuring my original character, Oven Mom, or Oven Mother. She was created in 2015 during a challenge I was partaking at the time, which was the 30-day monster challenge. So it was around October because it was kind of a Halloweenish thing. And she was created because the prompt of a certain day was object-headed. So that was where she came from. And I like the idea of sort of a mom who had the oven head, and she was sort of like going around making all these cookies, and she didn't have enough space to make all of them. So she was definitely an interesting design, and she has changed a little, but most of the parts of her have stayed the same. I have another artwork that I've done of her, and I'll probably link this artwork you see on the right here of her original design, plus the one I did at the end of 2016 in the description below. So if you want to see a slightly more recent version of her, you can find that there, and it also shows her free kids. So yeah, she does have a story behind her and in her world, she has an object head because pretty much all the adults do. The only ones who don't have object heads are the kids, but they do once they come of a certain age. So, and usually the object heads reflect their personality in some way. So for her, when she came of age, she had her oven or microwave oven head because that reflected that her personality was basically that of a sort of docile housewife, somebody who likes to take care of the home, take care of the kids, cook. She's pretty much, her design and her character is basically based off of your classic American 40s to 50s housewife. But other than that, I probably won't get too much into the story because I would like to make a comic or something out of it at some point, but I have not yet. So for now, that's probably all I'll say about her, specifically her character. But with the expressions themselves, it was definitely an interesting challenge, which is part of the reason I wanted to use her for my first take at this challenge, because I knew that I might have a tad bit of trouble with illustrating her emotions because she does not really have a face. She has her oven head. I had already decided that I was going to illustrate the expressions for her head a little bit because I decided that I was going to kind of do her head in a more way where it's not 100% realistic all the time, where it might curve or slant or change shape slightly, where it still has the basic shape, but it might show her emotions in some way, like you might see, say, in the sad one, where it kind of reflects, say, like eyebrow shape, where if you're sad, your eyebrows are curving up. So that's kind of where that came from. And then when I get too angry, her head is kind of curving down, so it reflects like if your eyebrows were curving down and you were angry or annoyed. So I had decided that for quite a while, but it was kind of fun to also think of other things when doing this about how she would show her expressions, like say through body language. Say like with the angry one, her arms are like, down, and she's all tight and looks tense, and she just pretty much looks like she's angry. So that's kind of the point. Or with the pleased one, like I was thinking maybe her kids were doing something that she liked, like maybe they were being nice or kind or doing a chore. She was really proud of them, so she kind of has like, it's almost even between like an, when you're like, "Aw," or something. So that was kind of where that came from. So there is quite a bit of like body language too that goes into this, thinking about how that would portray her emotions. And the last thing that was actually kind of a fun addition to think about was that little wire that you might have noticed on the side of her head. From the way we're looking, it's on the left. I thought it was kind of fun to think about how that might actually be an active part of her design when she is expressing emotions. So when I was doing the sad emotion, I kind of just had the wire laying pretty much like down, like almost like, like if you imagine almost like the ear of an animal, like a dog or a cat, it's kind of just drooping. And then like the angry one, I had her wire almost kind of like partly exploding, like there's like sparks coming out and everything. So kind of almost like, it's actually like an electronic, that's kind of frizzing out. So that was actually kind of a pretty fun thing to include in the design and in her expressions. But other than that, I did also want to take this opportunity to practice keeping her consistent through different drawings, because that's always kind of a problem I've had with drawing characters over and over again, which I don't really get to do very often, but when I do it, sometimes I have the issue where I have a hard time keeping it consistent. Even though it does help with her, because she does not have a face, and usually that is one of the trickiest parts to keep consistent, is the face and the shapes and sizes of different features. But with her, I pretty much just had to try to keep her proportions consistent, keep her clothing consistent, and stuff like that. So it wasn't quite as bad, but it was definitely interesting to experiment with that, because like I said, I would definitely be interested in turning her story into a comic, because that was always what I wanted to do with her, but I haven't gotten to it yet. So I think that was it's definitely a good exercise to do if you're doing something, if you plan on doing something like a comic or an animation, to go and to draw the character over and over again, practice their different expressions, or practice them from different angles or whatever, because I think it is definitely helpful if you plan on drawing the character multiple times over and over again for quite a while. But yeah, so, and it was also fun while doing these expressions to think about what might actually cause her to have these expressions, because especially with like things like anger and that kind of like negative stuff, because like I said, she's basically based off of your kind of classic housewife from the era where, you know, women were more the homemakers and stuff. So she's, you know, pretty much more, like she's more of a docile character. And it was definitely interesting to think about what might actually make her angry, or what would make her confrontational. Like say maybe if somebody was trying to hurt or do something to her children, would definitely make her angry. Or like with the pleased expression, I thought maybe her, like I said, maybe her kids were doing something that was making her happy, so she was kind of like all, you know, pretty much, it was on a kind of like a happy and then like pleased at whatever they're doing kind of look. Or like with the tired, you know, you imagine like a, you know, I'm sure it's pretty tiring to take care of 3 kids, especially considering the circumstances that happen in the story. So, yeah, overall, it was definitely a very fun exercise. And technically, this is only the first 8 expressions, and I'm definitely looking forward to doing the next ones. This series will actually probably end up being about 3 videos, because I'll probably do 8 more in the next one, and then do the final 9 after that. But because I figured I better split it up, because these drawings actually probably took about between 20 and 30 minutes for each of them, since I'm not really used to drawing super duper fast, even though it was helpful that I was keeping it to grayscale and also a more simple style. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. This video will be wrapping up soon. I'm just finishing the last expression that I do. So if you want to check out other pictures of Oven Mother, the 2 that I have, you can check that out in the description. You can also find the blank version of this meme in the description below. Plus, you can find my social media sites like DeviantArt and Redbubble and Facebook. So if you want to see more art or more updates, that would be a good idea to follow those. Plus, of course, you can also subscribe to this YouTube channel, and you can see when I post new YouTube videos, which I'm trying to do about once a week or so, doing more regularly than I usually did. So that is it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to getting the next part of this little challenge series out for this 25 Essential Expressions Challenge. So if you want to see more, you can check out my channel, subscribe, like, and comment, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!